Generation Y is known as the me, me, me generation. Our peers have presented our age group to older generations in a manner that comes across as less than flattering. After realizing this, I decided to pose a question to those in my age group. What is something that you could absolutely not live a day without? I asked 5 people from all very different backgrounds in hopes of getting extremely different answers. The answers I received surprised me, but without further ado, here's what they said.
Something I probably couldn't go a day without would probably be my mom. I call her almost every single day just because like she's always there and like she helps me with school and stuff like that, and especially this semester's been really tough and I'm the baby of the family, so I'm like the last go around and like I'm graduating in a few weeks, and so she's like kind of feeling the emotional pressure and I'm feeling the emotional pressure, and so I call her about once a day and like we just talk and like I ask her how her day's going, just to like kind of get me out of like the school mindset. And I do live by myself, so like I get lonely sometimes, and so I'll call her and I'll be like, what are you doing? Like, you know, talk to me, spend time with me. And like I just had a baby niece born like last summer, and so she goes and sees her all the time, and like she'll send me pictures and like videos and stuff like that, and like my mom is just really like my rock, because I can call her and like I can be in complete tears. I'm gonna be like, I need you, like I need you to talk me through this, and like she's always there, like no matter what, 100%. And you know, like I asked you like if it's an item or not, because like I was gonna say my laptop because like obviously I'm in school and like I need to do homework and stuff, but like I just think your family is so important, and I think that's something that like that will like outlast your computer, like your iPhone or something like that. And I think that's just something that I think our generation's losing, is that family's just not being as important and like people aren't being as important. And I think it's really important that my mom's like there, and I strive to be like her when I grow up and get older. So I don't know, that's tough. I don't know, I just don't think I would be as like happy. I think my day would pretty much go the same way. I think it would be a little like more lonely, because I do live by myself. Because I normally call her like in the afternoon because she gets off school and I'm out of school, and so like we normally talk for a few minutes, so it would probably just be like me going home and being alone. And I'm like a pretty bubbly person, and like I'm pretty happy, and I attribute that to my family because they've kind of made me that way. And I don't think I would be the same person like if I didn't have her around and like have her to like kind of balance me out a little bit. So I feel like I would just be a lot more like somber and sober and less fun to be around.
I think truthfully there are a few things I couldn't do without. Philip, my husband, is definitely the biggest one. Having someone to like come home and share the day with, and getting to talk about everything that's happened, good and bad, and process with is really helpful, and it's just cool. I don't know, marriage is a lot different than I thought it would be, but that's my favorite part, I think, is just getting to share everything. And for them to like watch you grow and get to share those experiences with somebody else is really cool. My other answer would probably be coffee. I have to have a couple cups of coffee a day, or I can't be all of this. I mean, I lived without Philip before knowing him, and I was fine. I'm rather independent person anyway, so I think I probably would have other people in my life that would maybe fill that need. I had a ton of really good girlfriends at that point in life, girl and guy friends that I was just close to and got to share life with. So I think it'd be devastating to like lose him in the way of like, I think ways would be like death or divorce. In those I'd be obviously devastated, but you'd find a way, I'd find a way to go on, I think. It wouldn't be fun. Coffee, I've done it, but I don't want to do it again. Well, with what I do, I actually do have days without him consistently. Typically we talk on the phone, so I'll pretend that's not an option. It definitely feels weird. It feels like part of me is off. It definitely messes up the day. And I've actually had days traveling where I've had to go without talking to him with different work things where our schedules don't combine. So I've lived that. It's not fun. And then after that, it just feels like you're catching up and trying to make up for lost time. Yeah, I think it's just weird. It just feels different. It doesn't feel right.
I could not go a day without my dog, Duke. I couldn't go a day without Duke because no matter what happens to me during the day, when I come home, he's always in a good mood and playful and loyal. Some of my favorite things to do with Duke are to take him outside and just let him run in the field. That's like his favorite thing to do. Just throw the ball with him and take him on a run. Just anything outside is what he loves to do. A day without Duke would just be really sad. Like I said, he's really playful, so it would just be kind of boring. I wouldn't get exercise, and I would be sad without him.
I don't think I could go a day without language. I feel like language is this thing that we use to identify ourselves, and we have this really strong empowerment through language, and it's because of language we actually have a means of saying that we exist. And so like if I did not have the ability to communicate with you, hey, I'm here, and this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm feeling, and this is why this works, you know, for all intents and purposes, that may not actually be a thing. And so with language, we're empowered to identify ourselves, and we're empowered to create a space in which we exist. And without that, then nothing exists. I would say like without language, I feel like we would kind of fall into like some sort of dystopian novel. And like I'm not necessarily saying that like if we lived in a space in which nobody was able to use words, I'm like saying like, you know, if we were in some sort of dystopian novel like The Giver, where like you're not allowed to say certain words because that's kind of been restricted, and you're not allowed to have the freedom of speech kind of deal, like, you know, you're just kind of, you're placed in a box and things don't exist outside of that box because you have no way to identify those things. I don't know, there are certain ways that like I feel that like it's not the right word, because there's a difference between feeling weird and there's a difference between feeling weird and awkward, and then there's a difference between being angry and livid, and there's a difference between being boy, girl, human, dog. Like there's just a difference between all those things, and it's because I can say I'm really livid with you, it has a power in it and an identity in it that I wouldn't have if I just said I'm really mad right now. And so it's the fact that we have that empowerment by being able to step up our game and be like, you know, this is really shitty or whatever.
I'm a baseball player. I couldn't live without sports. Well, sports have been a part of my life for 21 years. And I'm a collegiate athlete, been playing all the way through all the grades. And it's something that I'm passionate about. And I haven't gone without them my whole life. So I started probably around 5 years old. Started up with T-ball in Little League. Yeah, I come from a baseball family. All my siblings play. My dad played professionally, so it's always been something I've looked up to my dad and wanted to be a baseball player. He played for the Texas Rangers. A day without baseball would bring a lot of free time, so I guess I'd have time to focus on other world issues. I mean, maybe read a few books, watch the news.
As you can see, though we are pegged as the lazy and selfish generation, we care a whole lot about people and relationships and communicating effectively with others. Our generation cannot live without those who have taught us, those who have loved us, and the means to make it all work. We are a passionate group and we cannot live without each other. Now, think to yourself, what if you had been interviewed? What could you not live a day without?